What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boyz, where we're talking about college football with real fans. I'm Devan. That's Tony. It is good to be back. Tony, how you doing today, man?
I'm wonderful. It's good to have you back, man.
Yeah. I just thought whoa, my video just started playing on my phone. But yeah, so just got back last night, man. I was in the old Oregon mountains for like a week, which was absolutely phenomenal, dude. It's beautiful there. So wanted to pop in real fast. I know it's not a normal time we go live, but I never really got to sit down and talk about, like what happened in the Oregon game and all that stuff. And I know I gave my thoughts a little bit, but first off, shout out people in the chat. What's up, Karis? What's up, Anthony? What up, Tyler? Appreciate y'all joining. Tyler hit us with the OHIO.
Oh,
So let me start off by I've already given, hey, Emily in the chat. She's always in here. Appreciate you, Emily. I wanted to start off, like I've already given where I'm at, like with the season and with the Buckeyes. I've actually rewatched the game today again, thought about it, whatnot. And I mean, I'm perfectly fine with where we're at. Obviously, there's things that we didn't like in the Oregon game, but there's also things that were really good and that I love to see because honestly, the things I was concerned about in that game didn't happen. I mean, they did in a way, but I really wasn't concerned with our secondary, and that was the main reason why we had the things that we had. But I loved what I saw in our offense. I love what I saw with Will Howard, different things like that. So we're going to dive into that a little bit. Oh, Mean Green on here. Wasn't nice to see those cheater losers lose a third game with many more. Oh, yeah, dude.
for sure.
That was phenomenal. We all saw that coming. I guess we'll hit on that real fast, too, because I did want to hit on that. Tony, do you think that the players for the old Cheaterines, how many injuries do you think we're about to see start happening on this team?
Well, I saw Will Johnson's already injured, so
Yeah, I didn't see that. Is it really?
yes, I saw it run across ESPN last night. He went out with an injury or something like that.
Oh,
So me and Mello called that one way back when, and I think the rest of them will start falling out. You know what I'm saying? Soon enough.
Yeah.
I imagine we play a very skeleton crew Michigan team when we see them.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. I don't give a dang. Honestly, I would prefer that everybody be there because I know that the Buckeyes are going to dominate that game. We got Emily shooting us a question. You may get to this, but what are you looking for from the NE game?
Nebraska game.
Oh, the Nebraska game.
That's the
Nebraska game.
state abbreviation for Nebraska.
That's crazy. I've never actually seen the state abbreviation for Nebraska, but now I have. Thanks, Emily, for and Tony for growing my knowledge of state abbreviations today.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Hey, that's a perfect thing to jump into here before we start in the Oregon thing as well. Tony, what you looking for? We saw what happened in the Oregon game. They have a bye week. What did you see lacking in the Oregon game that you want to see out of this Nebraska game? We just saw what Indiana did to Nebraska, which we'll get to that in a second. But Let's answer Emily's questions here real fast.
I mean, I'm looking for the defense to be much more on the same page, much more solid. Us to actually get a pass rush, hopefully abandon this cage rush philosophy. And I know Will Howard's not good at the downfield shots, but and Quinshon's hurt, but we still got Trey. I say we still got James Peoples. Establish the run. Try to figure out what we're going to do. Losing Will Kazmarek and Josh Simmons.
Yeah.
And literally, I think Zen Mikowski did not play horrible. You know what I'm saying? Donovan Jackson got beat a few times by Derek Harmon, whatever. But I really think I think I just want to see how the O-line works and the defense to be on the same page. Those are the two big things I want to see out of it. And I want to see a performance similar to Indiana's because Indiana, after that performance, kind of scares me. But again, they're still Indiana. So you know what I'm saying? I want a performance like that just to make myself feel better.
Yeah. What up, Taco? What up, Steven? In the chat down here. Dude, I couldn't agree more. Number one, and, and and I don't know why, but I do. We lost our left tackle, Josh. Huge loss, huge loss. You know what I'm saying? But
Probably our best lineman.
yeah, I don't know. I just have a lot of confidence. I'm not too worried about that. And I know it might sound like an insane, crazy statement because I know the rest of Buckeye Nation is freaking out about it. But for some reason, I'm just not. And I think it's because of this. Number one, with what we've seen out of our offensive line this year already, shows me how important scheme is when it comes to the offensive line. And we have Chip Kelly. And I just believe that, I think number one, I think I believe we have an offensive lineman that can step up and do the job enough to still make things flow smoothly. So I guess my confidence lies in Chip Kelly. Now, there are obviously, dude, this is the game of football. And I think sometimes what I forget is when I watch the Buckeyes, we've talked about this, I don't know how many times, I just expect perfection. Like, I don't expect anything to go wrong ever, but that's just not reality. So, Oregon game, for instance, everybody's complaining about the defense, right? Well, the defense did really good things. They stopped them on a fourth down. They only gave up a field goal at the end. They put the offense in an opportunity to drive the ball down the field and score. The offense didn't get that done. Now, why? There's a lot of whys out there why that didn't happen. I'll get into my why in a minute. But yeah, I think, the offensive line, I'm very excited to see in the Nebraska game. And then what you brought up as well, the defensive strategy that we see in this Nebraska game. I do think we will see some differences because I'm going to be honest, when I rewatch the game, every time Jim Knowles sent the pressure, like we sent pressure on 1/3 down, and guess what? They did not convert. All the other times we dropped back and did that whole, zone coverage thing, which clearly doesn't work. This is an attacking defense. And this is where I think a loss can come in and be a blessing to this team because it's now forcing the hand, I hope, of some coaches to change a few things. Now, if we step back and we're honest about it, we lost by 1 point in Autzen Stadium against the now number one team in the nation. We lost by 1 point. And if you want to, I'm going to be that dude. Normally I'm not that dude, but I think we lost because we got freaking short-sighted by the old striped zebras there at the end because Will Howard got down, man, and we should have been able to kick a field goal. But there's my take on what I'm excited to see on the Nebraska front. So let's dive into this Oregon game a little bit. I know that, listen, people watching, I was just on vacation. I was in the mountains. I know I came on and gave my thoughts a little bit on the Oregon game, but I just didn't feel like I got to break that game down good enough. So I want to do that. I don't want to take a lot of time doing that. And then we can talk about some other things going on in the nation. But Tony, before we get started on that, I'm going to open it up to you. I'm going to read these stats first. Okay. So Oregon had 496 total yards. Ohio State had 467. Oregon had 341 passing yards. Ohio State had 326. Oregon had 155 rushing yards. Ohio State had 141. Oregon averaged 6.7 yards per play. Ohio State averaged 6.9. You can't get more similar stats than that. In the game of football, that's pretty well even. So Will Howard was 28 for 35, 326 yards for 2 touchdowns. Dylan Gabriel, 23 for 34, 341 yards for 2 touchdowns. So, Tony, let me hear your thoughts on this Oregon game. Let's start with the things that you were a little bit upset about while watching this game.
Okay. The number one, there's 2 things that I'm very upset about that I think are somewhat criminal. One is that Arvell Reese only played 4 snaps. That is absolutely absurd because I believe him and Cody are the best 2 linebackers on the team. Now, the second thing I'm going to say, it's going to sound kind of condescending, and it's going to mean to, like, I'm really happy that we went out of our way to take that one timeout back home to Columbus and put in the trophy case because it'll look great there. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, that to no end irritates me, but it'll look great in the trophy case. So,
Yeah.
Now, that all being said, like, yes, the defense played bad. Like, I'm not mad about Denzel Burke. Like, granted, I thought Denzel Burke was faster than that, but like Tez Johnson obviously is very fast. Like, and I think part of that was scheme because, when we played, when Igbenogson was up in people's faces and getting spit on, we stopped them. You know what I'm saying? When we played 10 yards off, we didn't. Like, if somebody gives you a double move and you're 10 yards off, like, you can't catch them. When you're in their face, you'll catch them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. Like, we didn't realize that. And Dylan Gabriel's 4 for 4 long balls when we haven't seen him throw a ball past 15 yards all season. Our fault. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Well, for me, I was at the game, and there was a lot of things in the moment that I was mad about. And I'll just tell you where I was at during the game. During the game, I was the most mad at Denzel Burke. I just was. Clearly, the dude was having an off game. Now, why was that? I don't know. Did he prepare himself correctly? Did they show up? Does the Friday night showing up on Friday thing, did that come back and bite a couple people in the butt? Yada, yada, yada. It could have. We don't know. But the fact is that it happened. Oh, look, we got a Duck fan in here. I love it. Ducks made their fair share of mistakes in that game and at least left 5 points on the field. Duck fans don't travel well outside of the West Coast. So, yes, I think we would likely lose.
On a neutral field, yeah.
Yeah. So, since you came in here, I do credit to the Ducks. I've already said that. I've already eaten my words to what I said. I've said it all preseason. The Ducks aren't going to play like a team, yada, yada. Credit to the Ducks, dude. They came in there. They beat us. You know what I mean? So essentially they got 2 turnovers in the game. We fumbled the ball. That's what happens in football, man. I'm not mad at Judkins for that. I could be, but it just happens, and then that little squib kick thing, bro.
Listen, if Caleb Downs can't catch it or move out the way, nobody can.
Why did people say that was Caleb Downs? That wasn't Caleb Downs.
It was Caleb Downs.
What number does Caleb Downs wear?
He wears 2. So Emeka was on the field. They put 48 on him in a tearaway jersey. It was Caleb Downs.
Oh, okay. So it was Caleb Downs.
It was absolutely Caleb Downs.
Because I was like, dude, that's number 48. That wasn't Caleb Downs. But okay.
Yeah.
So
he had a tearaway jersey on with no name in the back.
Here's the truth of the matter. Try that 100 times in a row. It's only going to happen once. You know what I'm saying?
They caught it perfectly. Like, they had to catch some perfect bounces like they have all year. And literally, like, we played our worst game absolutely this year, and we only lost by 1 point to now the eventual number 1 team. Like, in hindsight, I'm not that mad about it. I'm still in deep mourning because that's the person I am, and I don't ever want to take a loss. But
yeah. Now, like I said, the Ducks, they came in there and beat us. Jim Knowles, overall, I just don't think he had the best game calling. I'm not calling for Jim Knowles' job or anything like that.
No.
Did very good. A lot of people in the chat are bringing up the Texas and Georgia game. Yeah, dude, this is just college football, man. Listen, just because the Buckeyes went in there and lost, like, check out how the Buckeyes lost that game. Run through how that happened, right? Okay, so Oregon definitely should have had an interception. Maybe we don't score those 7. Well, we wouldn't because they would have got the ball, but maybe our defense stops them. But then look at the end of the game. Look at the OPI call. Look at Will Howard going down with 1 second left, but we never got the opportunity. We lost by 1 point, Buckeye Nation. Alabama's out there beating Georgia. Alabama's going and losing to Vanderbilt. Georgia's going and beating Texas, blowing them out, like not even a close game. And
Will Howard could have looked as bad as Quinn Ewers did yesterday, and I'd have been upset. Quinn Ewers looked like trash yesterday.
Yeah, simply because Oregon beat us, they're the number 1 team in the nation. But if you ask me who looks like the second best team in the nation, bro, it's the freaking Buckeyes, dude. Like, I'm not sure. There's not much to be upset about, man. This is college football. It's a 12-team playoff. We are just fine. Will Howard went in there and did his thing. The defense did some good things. Oregon schemed us to a point where it just, we got out coached that game. If you ask me, the main part of it, was that, and the 2 turnovers didn't help. And then, of course, at the end, like I said, I'm going to be that dude. And Oregon definitely got screwed on an interception call. They made some bad calls themselves. But here's what we do know, if we have that 1 second left in the game, we're able to kick that field goal, or at least have a shot at a 40-some yard field goal to win the game. So I think we did get screwed there. But, I wanted to get those thoughts out there that, yeah, I'm mad at the defense. Do we have a national title defense? 100%, man. Like, we got a talented defense. The defense gave our offense a shot at the end of the game against an extremely talented Oregon team, okay, in their stadium. Like, held them to a field goal at the last, stopped them on 4th down. They gave up some plays and then they made their plays. The same with the offense, man. Will Howard missed that, snap back to him, made some questionable things. But overall, I'm just not upset. Of course, I'm upset. My pride is hurt because the Buckeyes lost, but I'm not down on this team. I honestly don't really think any differently than I do. I did think we would go undefeated, but my thoughts haven't changed too much on this team. I think this is, there's no other way to look at it than it's a good thing now. I know that's weird to say, but I think it gives the coaches an opportunity to, come together and figure some things out. So what's your thoughts?
I think the same thing. And I think, like, they got out coached, and that should hurt their pride too. And they should be like, we should do better. Ryan Day made the statement when he came here. We didn't come here to be average. Like, that to me was an average Ohio State team that played the number 1 team now in the nation and lost by 1 point. I'm not mad about it. They play better. We win. Like, they don't abandon the run in the second half because they lost Josh Simmons, probably got scared. I'm pretty sure on one of our previous shows, we said one of the ways Oregon can win is if Will Howard has to throw the ball 30 or 40 times. Well, here we are, 35 fucking passes, and we lose the game. Granted, we lost by 1 point, and I'm not mad about it. Like, I'm sad about it, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, dude, we're on to the next. This is a 12-team playoff. We got Nebraska, then Penn State, then Northwestern, then Indiana, then Michigan.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah. We're in there. I think coming up, Penn State, obviously that's the game that we're questioning. Indiana just absolutely smoked Nebraska. I did not watch that game, but I am going to watch that game. What up, Steely? Steely's in the house. Mr. Bucknuts, what's up? 100%, dude. This is another great point to bring up. It's just like, hey, I would rather us be playing our best at the end of the season, right? If we're going to make some mistakes, if the coaches aren't going to be on the same page, it needs to be now. It's very rare that you have a perfect football season. Like, think back of some of these, national title. There are a few that you could say had a perfect season, but even in those perfect seasons, they almost lost. They won games by the skin of their teeth and became the national champs.
Listen,
this is a beautiful time.
2014, like, that team, like, lost to a really, really, really bad Virginia Tech team. Like, in hindsight, like, a really bad Virginia Tech team. And they played Navy close. They played everybody close that whole year until the end of the year. And then, despite all the things in their face, they smoked everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I would rather do that.
Yeah. What up, Ohio Pod? Yeah, glad to be back. What up, Drink? Dennis, bro. Dennis and his brother, they're freaking awesome, man, dude. They're Buckeyes, dude.
Listen, I'm glad they got their shirts.
Around.
He told me he liked the shirts, so I'm very happy about it. Like,
yeah, dude, it was awesome, man. He made it. And if you guys ever get a chance to meet Dennis, dude, he's one of a kind human, very helpful. Kind of people that we need in this world. So I love it, man. That was another thing, dude. The experience that I had going and watching this game, above a 10 out of 10, even though we lost, it was still an awesome game to be at. The Buckeyes traveled like a boss, bro. Like, there were Buckeyes scattered throughout that entire stadium, dude. I had so much fun going around and interviewing people at the beginning of the game. I got into the stadium really earlier and was down there real close, got some really good footage. I did learn that I got to get a little better equipment when traveling because I know it was really loud. People couldn't hear. People didn't really like it too awful much. But dude, I had a blast. What up, Cookie?
Okay.
What up, Mika?
Oh, Mika in the house.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Let's see. Head high, Buckeye fans. You guys could very well win it all.
Oh, oh, such a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, dang, man. Dang, bro. But yeah, for sure, man. We can't get too caught up in this. You can't be looking around, and I'm just not all about the. This is great drink. I got to put this up. It did. The entire town did. You do not drive in Oregon without smelling weed. It's just everywhere, and I got this Airbnb right beside a mountain. Like I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's like a place to eat. There's a Dollar General, and then there's a weed store. I walked into that store, dude. They had like this big fake joint there. So yeah, it's recreational there. There's weed everywhere.
You just got to show your license and you can walk right in.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, bro.
Yep.
But yeah, so yeah, we got Nebraska coming up. We saw what Indiana did to them. Hey, did you watch that game, Tony?
I watched about 3/4 of it. Like Dylan Raiola looked really kind of pedestrian in that game. He threw a bunch of interceptions. Indiana looked like world beaters, like the whole game from when I watched. Like, and like Kirk Cignetti just kept his foot on the gas the whole time. Like all the way up until like 1 minute left, and then they finally hit victory formation and win in the middle of a drive. Like, you know what I'm saying, at the end. So like they were on it. Like, and Nebraska kind of was going to give me pause, and like, but at the end of the day, they showed Dylan Raiola is still just a freshman, and like he's got some skill, but like not when pressed. Like they pressed him a bunch. Like they had good coverage. He threw, I think, 2 or 3 interceptions. So
yeah. Dude, that's the thing about college football this year. I mean, you kind of saw a little bit of it last year, but now look this year. It's just like, dude, anybody can beat anybody. It's kind of, it's kind of crazy. But you watch the SEC this year. Look at everybody losing. It's really hard to pinpoint a dominant team over there. I mean, last night Georgia looked like they have the best defense in the nation by far, but previous games they didn't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, if the Oregon game was the Buckeyes' down game, they lost by 1 point to the number 1 team in the nation on their down game. And you got these other teams like losing losing to Vandy, and it's crazy. So yeah, dude, I love it. I love watching college football this year. It's an exciting thing. I'm still excited. Where the Buckeyes are going. There's a rumor on the streets that, Day got together with the defensive staff and some things are going to be changing. Supposedly, Jim Knowles is going to start getting a little more of what Jim Knowles wants. He's the defensive coordinator. If he wants to have, 3 linemen down with different packages and different things like that, supposedly, we're about to be seeing a little more of that. So, what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on Jim Knowles getting his way in these things?
I think it can't go any worse than it has. I mean, like at the beginning of the year, we heard rotation, and like, the backups are considered starters as well. And then when it comes down to it, like we didn't see that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we saw that early on in the games. Like, but now, like you had Arvell only playing 4 snaps. Like you had the defensive line like being completely winded, and they're not putting anybody else in. They didn't really play Kenyatta. They didn't really play Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? Like Caden Curry, Caden McDonald, like all them dudes are killers. And they were standing on the sideline giving people Gatorade. You know what I'm saying? Like they were doing nothing. And we had, JTT standing up, Jack on the ground, so I hope that like what we've heard is the disconnect between Larry Johnson and Jim Knowles and whatever, like Ryan Day can kind of like play CEO and squash all that and get his house in order. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we need to rotate more on the D-line. And I think we need to rotate more. Like every college, if you watch, rotates DBs, even in big games. Georgia had 4 or 5 DBs deep last night in the game because of targeting and all kinds of stuff. I saw 6 or 7 different DBs that Georgia had last night. and they were taking care of Texas. Like, why couldn't Jermaine Matthews, Aaron Scott, and Bryce West, all these dudes are not hitting the field and they're good. Jermaine Matthews, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially after the game that Denzel had, he needed to get his head straight, whatever. Like, literally, like, why? Jermaine Matthews at that point couldn't have been any worse. He could, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wouldn't have given up 8. I mean, even if he gave up 8 out of 8 and a million yards, like, it still was the same deal. So, like, what, we couldn't have gone any worse at that point.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, that's something I didn't bring up, but after rewatching the game and all that, that might be one of my biggest complaints with the game is that, like, you saw the previous games where we were rotating these players in and then doing the thing. And it's like, I don't get that. When we get to these games, we get in these tight situations, it's like everything gets tightened up, and I just don't understand that. Like, we have the players to go in there and give them a break. We got Jermaine Matthews who can go in there and handle his business, get some guys in there on the defensive line, give him a break. Yeah, dude, even that last drive where we managed to hold him to a field goal, dude, bro, they were gassed, dude. Right. Gas. And we were not prepared for, like, the tempo. That just blows my mind that we weren't prepared for the tempo that Oregon decided to run. That blows my mind. I don't understand that. We have, in my opinion, one of the best coaching staffs in the nation. I still believe that. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's just like, dude, come on, man. How many times do we gotta run through these scenarios of after the game, watching the film and seeing that, dang, look how tired our players were. We need to rotate more. Like, how many times is this going to happen? How many times do you have to have it close in the first quarter and then keep waiting so long to make your adjustments? So I'm just praying and hoping that the things that I'm hearing are true, that there's going to be some changes now, that things are going to be different. Now, we've even been told that rotation was going to happen more this year, and then we get to our biggest game, it doesn't happen. So who knows what you can believe anymore when it comes to that. But, we'll see.
I mean,
we will see.
I think, like, one thing, like, they got outcoached and, like, whatnot, but, like, the one thing I want of Ryan Day is, like, he's so tight and closed off sometimes. Like, I want him to get the level of psychopath that Dan Lanning has. Like, Dan Lanning's so obsessive and so like, I don't like Dan Lanning at all, but he is kind of a psychopath, and I would wish Ryan Day could unlock that level of psychopath in his life and just open up and really, like, they keep saying they're going to unleash people. We haven't unleashed anybody all year. Like, I wish they would. You know what I'm saying? I wish Ryan Day could get to that point where he just says, like, yeah, I'm going to do weird stuff that Urban did. And you know what I'm saying? Like, just go off cuff and do stuff and not just be scared. Like, oh, I'm going to abandon the running game because we lost the left tackle.
Yeah. I think this year, Ken Taco put in here, team look out for Texas A&M. Dude, it's so crazy how you're watching college football and then you can watch a game and you can be like, dang, dude, like for instance, after Alabama beat Georgia, I mean, they were the number 1 team in the nation. Everybody was like, holy crap, they look really, really good. I think, if Ohio State plays Bama, it's over for Ohio State. Then they go to lose to Vandy. Now everybody's like, dude, Alabama ain't that good. Now Georgia goes and they beat Texas, number 1 team in the nation, but they lost to Alabama. So I think it comes down to this. I think there may be 3 teams out there, 3-4 teams that can go win the national title, but maybe even more than that. But are they playing their best football in the playoffs? I mean, that's just the only thing that matters anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as it hurts to lose to Oregon and all that, it's, I said it before. What do you want as a Buckeye fan? What is going to make you happy? Here's what's going to make me happy. Beating the team up north, not just beating them, murdering them.
Beating them.
Yeah. And winning the national title. That's it. So if those things happen, I don't give a dang if we lose to Oregon, now we need to go out and, win the rest of our games and do our thing. But I mean, even with the lots, if there is another loss on the schedule, I still think we make the playoffs. So it's kind of weird. There's good things about this playoff, and then there's other things that make it like a little less exciting. That some of these games don't really matter as much anymore. So it's a little aggravating.
They
Would
do
you?
when they don't. So
Yeah, I feel you. Well, dude. Anything else on your mind? Anything else you want to talk about? There is one more thing I would like to talk about. I need to know. There's 34 people watching right now. Please, if you guys are watching, put in the chat. Can Will Howard win us a national title? Yes or no? Tony, let me hear
I
your thoughts.
100%, like, especially after the Oregon game, like, yeah, listen, I know he doesn't throw the best deep ball, but like, to be fair, like, I mean, he's no worse than, Cade Klubnik or, all these other dudes that have like Heisman odds and stuff or whatever. Like, I really think, like, if you took the quarterbacks on the top 10 team, Will Howard is playing just about as good as any of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me personally, especially in a big game like Oregon, like, he didn't look horrible. He threw a couple off balls, like, the pass interference to JJ, whatever. Like, I believe he can get us there wholeheartedly. Like, I didn't lose any ounce of respect or faith in Will Howard after that game at all. If anything, it helped reaffirm, like, especially in big moments, like, he looked like he was supposed to look in big moments. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, he took that sack, but he kind of tripped. You trip, it happens. Like, the sad thing is that last drive was just so mismanaged and so crazy, but like, I don't put most of that on any of that on Will Howard.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So, if anything, watching Will Howard play in this environment, and let me tell you something. You don't understand how the environment in that stadium affects the game if you're watching it on TV. I'm telling you, when I was sitting in those stands, those times that the offensive line got some of those penalties, it was deafening loud. It was like my brain was vibrating inside of my skull, and I'm sitting there like you couldn't even talk to the person next to you. I'm serious. Like, my girl was right beside me, and I would try to talk to her in those moments, and she'd be like, "What'd you say? What'd you say?" And I'm like, "Dang, girl, I'm right beside you." But that's how loud it was. So it's pretty crazy and pretty intense in those moments. So watching what he did in those moments actually built my confidence. It gave me more confidence on the offensive side of the ball. And I guess that's another reason why I have confidence that, with losing an offensive lineman, that we can still handle our business on offense, because you got Chip Kelly and you got Will Howard back there. An experienced quarterback that, yes, he makes his mistakes, but I mean, when he gets pressured, he threw the ball away a couple times. He mismanaged that snap and he dove on it instead of trying to pick it up. It could have been worse. He could have tried to pick it up, got tackled, fumbled it, and turned the ball over. So in those moments, he's making the veteran quarterback decisions. He's making the correct decisions. When it comes down to it, he didn't turn the ball over at all. So my confidence went up a lot with him. Yeah, the deep balls are a little bit like, dang, like, bro, we got so many weapons. I mean, Jeremiah Smith is unstoppable. He's unstoppable. If we had a QB that could throw those deep balls a little better, I do believe we'd be seeing way more of them. I think we would, because, like, look at our receiver group. Look at the positions we put defense in. You got JJ Smith, who cannot be stopped most of the time, even with two people on him. Like, seeing him in person, watching him stand next to the DBs that are trying to guard him, the dude looks like a tight end trying to be guarded by grade schoolers. Like, I'm serious. It's
I
absolutely crazy, bro.
I agree. Listen, like, if we had a better quarterback, you would get essentially Ryan Williams and Jalen Milroe. Like, that's why Ryan Williams has more yards than him and whatnot. But Ryan Williams was kind of shut down in the Tennessee game, so that was nice to see. But like,
Yeah.
literally, like, that's what you get. You know what I'm saying? That's why you get long, crazy touchdowns like Ryan Williams has, because he does have somebody that can really throw the ball. Like, and like, as for Otson, like, I worked in the music industry for 10 years, stood on the side of many stages at the loudest concerts I could. So I understand, like, what that feels like to feel like I can't breathe. It's so loud. Like, it's, I couldn't imagine trying to play football in that. I could barely manage a band, let alone, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
operate a whole offense. So I get it.
Yeah. Dennis said that Scum's holding QB tryouts this week, and minimum requirements: throw a football 15 yards.
Well, that's
Yeah, hey, that was a
not gonna work
beautiful
up
thing to
there.
watch. I loved watching that. That was an awesome thing to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mika thinks Illinois is going to be slaughtered by Oregon. Is that at Autzen Stadium? That game, I wonder.
Well,
Is
I mean,
it?
Oregon's 33 out of 34 at Autzen. Like, they haven't been the best team for all those games. But
No,
you're saying, like,
I know they got it going on at that place. I'm telling
right.
you right now, they got it going on, dude. But yeah, so all righty. Well, I think that'll about do it. I just wanted to jump on here. I still have the utmost faith in our coaches and on the offensive side of the ball. Will Howard, our offensive line. We've obviously got to figure out what's going on there, make some changes. You know, I'm not saying like I have like information as to why I have confidence. It's just a feeling. I just feel confident that Zen Mikowski or somebody on this team can step up and go play left tackle. And we are mans. We have offensive weapons for days, dude. Like for days. So I'm not worried one bit about us scoring enough points the rest of the season to win the national title. Now, on the flip side of the ball, I do believe to win a national title, something has to change on defense. Actually, several small things need to change on defense. The devil's in the details. How are you rotating players? How are you making in-game adjustments? And what's your overall like desire for your defensive scheme? Like, what's it gonna be? Like, get after this QB a little bit, man. Clearly, this is an attacking defense. You Sonny Styles, dude, throw that dude on the freaking an edge and have him go get the QB. Every time he does that, it ends up good. He does his job, literally, every time he does that. So make some changes. I think we're going to see it. I hope we see it. So yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, Sonny Styles, like, I know they've like been like, oh no, we don't do the jack position thing, but like, to be fair, Sonny Styles might be the perfect jack position player at that point, just to rush the passer and, you know what I'm saying, come at people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. A lot of people are feeling the same way, man. Mika, absolutely. Season's definitely not over. I like where we're at too. Also, Karis. Yeah, thanks, Mika. I missed y'all too. I missed coming on here, dude. I tried to get on here when I was gone. Service was crazy. And
I
then,
felt like you were a POW behind enemy lines over there.
yeah. And, when you're on vacation and you got your girl with you, if you don't pay attention to her the whole time, you get in trouble. So I did sneak away a couple times, got busted, but I made up for it. So all it was good. Took her to the store, bought her a hat or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
Everything was good.
Pay the penance. Pay the penance.
Mr. Bucknuts thinks we smacked the Hoosiers. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I know a lot of people are worried about Indiana. I
mean, it's still Indiana, but like
I
they
don't
always play us kind
know.
of tough. So
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, why are people scared of Indiana because of what they did in Nebraska? Who have they
they're
played this year?
undefeated still. But
Yeah, I knew that.
I think Indiana's quarterback got hurt in that game, if I remember correctly. I watched a lot of football yesterday, but like I think Indiana's main quarterback got hurt yesterday, and they had a backup quarterback in late in the game. So like I don't know what's going on with him. So that might be something because they had that kid that transferred from Ohio University.
So they played Nebraska. They beat Nebraska 56-7. They played Northwestern, and Northwestern scored 24 points on them. They beat Northwestern 41-24. Maryland scored 28 points on them. They beat Maryland 42-28. They played Charlotte, beat them 52-14. They played UCLA 42-13. They played Western Illinois, who they 77-3.
I watched that game. Yeah.
They played FIU. And they beat them 31-7. So, like, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. They have played nobody.
Yep. Nebraska was supposed to be their biggest test, and obviously it wasn't. But like Nebraska does it every year. So, like the last.
Hey, let's see what they do so here comes the meat of their schedule. They got Washington coming up.
Yep.
They got Michigan State coming up. They got the team up north. Then they have us. So we'll see what they do. I mean, if they go out and they beat Washington 56-7, in my opinion, it'll be, a little more of a, hey, man, what's going on here? And Michigan State has the capability. if their quarterback stops turning the ball over,
Yeah.
then they go play Scum. I don't think that's going to be good.
That's a W for him for sure.
I don't know. Nah.
You don't think so?
Oh, no. Yeah, it's a W for him. I'm just talking about I'm trying to gauge
Oh, yeah.
on
Okay.
my concern level for Indiana. Okay, chat. 10 being you think Indiana is going to beat Ohio State. 1 being there's no way in the world. Where is your concern level with Indiana right now if we play them? 10, they're going to beat us. 1, we're going to beat them. Mr. Bucknuts picked Nebraska.
I would say I'm at a 4 or 5, but that's when I get concerned about shit. So I think I think everybody spent all week saying they were afraid of Texas, and we saw what Texas went out and looked like garbage. So
yeah, we got a 1, a 3, a 1, a 5, a 4, a 2, a 3, a 1, 6. Dennis with the 6.
Concerned.
A 2, a 4, a 3. Okay. 5. Throw the records out in that game. Okay. Yeah. Hey, I wonder if you could dang near say that for every game this year.
At this point, you might as
well.
Throw
the records out, dude. It's a new game. You better focus in.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people, the view of a lot of people now is because Ohio State lost, everybody feels like they shouldn't have, on a national scale, maybe they shouldn't have, and they're wounded and they're vulnerable now and stuff. Whatever. I don't think that. I think we're going to get our house in order and we're going to move forward. And if anything, it should light a fire under what has seemed like a hungry team already. So we just got beat by a very, very good Oregon team when we played a average game. So it shouldn't be that concerning in hindsight.
Yeah. I mean, Indiana has obviously proved that we can't go in there and sleepwalk during that game. There ain't no way. You can't go in there.
Hard. And they're going to dignity. Definitely.
Yeah, because they can put up them points fast. So if they go in there and they're slicing up our defense in the first half and we're not making adjustments and stuff like that, shoot. But I'm just not there. Definitely, I feel you, Drink. There's a part of it. But talent and experience still matters. It absolutely does.
I would like to see what happens with IU's quarterback, because I really think he was, by the end of the game, he was out. He was in street clothes at the end of the game. So
really, huh? Yeah. Yep, I agree, Mr. Bucknuts. It's great to see where our defense adjustments are at. Yeah, it definitely will be. So, hey, overall, Buckeye Nation, I've said it before, dude, we're perfectly fine. We're in an okay spot. We lost by 1 point. And we essentially had 2 turnovers, some calls not go our way, different things like that. And we were in their atmosphere, which is a huge deal, man. That stadium, I would give that more than a 3-point edge. You know what I'm saying? So it's serious there. It ain't no joke. So, Tony, any final statements?
I would say, as much as everybody overreacted, even myself, I think in hindsight, we're good, and you just have to say onward and upward to Olympus.
Yeah. What up, Buck 65? I agree. We got all this veteran talent. Hopefully, Will Howard and a lot of the veterans on the team, they rallied this team together. I'm sure they're doing that, man. I tried to put myself in that position. I said, dude, I wonder what the veterans of this team, what they're saying to the younger players on this team. Or I would love to be a fly on the wall in some of their meetings now and see what this has done, because, dude, we'll find out. Dude, we'll find out in the Nebraska game what this has done. Did these players have such a big head, and expect to go undefeated, and now they lost and their confidence level just went way down, or they're so mad over this loss that they can't focus? Or was this a wake-up call? And we are going to see a completely different team. It can happen. And we're going to see a team come out, play to their full potential, which would be a scary team to see. I don't think we've seen a game this year where we have watched both the offense and the defense play to their full potential. Hopefully that comes towards the end of the year in the playoffs, because if we do, and when we do, I do not believe that this team can be beat with the talent, the leadership, and the coaches that we have. If everybody's on the same page, playing to their full potential, zoned in, freaking watch out. So don't underestimate this team. And dude, if you're a fan of the Buckeyes, dude, we need to be the number one people not underestimating this team, dude. Support them, show them that love, man, dude. This is an amazing season. Don't get caught up in that, dude. Let's um intel on practice. This is the last thing real fast. I don't have two. The only little tidbit of intel that I have is that there was some meetings held about defense, specifically with the coaches. So I was told that there might be some changes coming up with people, with Jim Knowles being able to run things the way that he wants to run things. But I do not know. That's all I got for you there. But all righty. Appreciate y'all watching.
Yep.
Please do not forget to like and subscribe, share us. If you want to come on the show. Oh, dude, I got one more announcement. I met three players' parents there that are going to come on the Buckeye Boyz and talk. And
awesome.
Very excited about it, man. We got I'm not going to tell you guys who. You will see. So it's very, very exciting. Get these guys, get them to come on. So, all right, Buckeye Nation, appreciate you. We love you. Go Buckeyes. OH.
I-O.